Hi, everyone. Welcome to the next short attention span webinar. Kelly, we have another two-parter here.
Oh, these are cliffhangers. I like these.
You don't remember Batman, do you? You don't remember the original Batman
Of
that was like,
course I remember Batman.
do you
You
really?
mean like Adam West
Yeah,
Batman?
yeah. They had part one and part two. That's how they did it. Part one, part two. Part one, part
Of
two.
course.
Okay. Well, I'm just checking. I'm just
You're
checking.
not that much older than me.
Okay. You might want to shut that conversation down pretty quick. So
Uh-huh.
let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about, we're going to give you 6 reasons why we lose customers. And today we're going to give you reasons 4 through 6. Kelly, reason number 6, failure to infiltrate an account. Tell me about that one.
Oh, this one hurts me personally because what this really boils down to, I mean, there's a number of ways this can happen, but it's really that you have tunnel vision with the account. You go to one person or, a set number of people that give you work all the time, but you're not really looking around. You're not really thinking about other opportunities within the account. You're not meeting higher up people. So you're not going deep and you're not going wide. And what tends to happen is people are making decisions around you. They're making decisions kind of, in spite of you or not knowing about you, and it really can be painful when you find out that there were high up people making decisions and you weren't a part of it because they didn't know you and they didn't know who you were. So one piece of advice, Bill, that you have been giving for a long time that I think is really smart is that every time you go into an account, you should get introduced to one new person. Maybe it's the person next to your buyer, maybe it's your buyer's boss, maybe it's an admin, but we really want to make sure that we have deep, deep ties to accounts that mean a lot to us, and just make sure that everybody knows what we do with them and for them and what our value is to make sure that we don't ever get outsold or lose an account because of ignorance.
And okay, all right. So two good tips. The other one is we got to make certain that the customer is completely sure why they're buying from us.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, cool. All right, great. Now, reason number 5 has to do with communication habits, and it's, you know, communication, of course, is one of the pillars, I think, of being a good salesperson. I did a conference call today, and did two of them actually, and it came up on both calls where someone would say, "This is the problem I'm having," and both times it came down to, you know what, dude, you're just not communicating well enough. So, poor communication habits can kill a relationship. We talk about assumptions, right? Are you calling
Mm-hmm.
your customers or are they calling you? So if a customer calls and says, "Hey, by the way, where's my job or when's the proof going to be delivered?" That's another way of saying you should have made this phone call to me. I should
Right.
already know this. And that's not true 100% of the time, but the point is, are you anticipating their needs? And it might just be an email. Hey, just an FYI, the proof is going to be delivered to you electronically a little later on today. Or I just checked on your job. Looks like everything's going smoothly. Those are good habits to get into. So if you have to, then over communicate. There's Let the customer come back and say, I don't need to know every detail. Now, and obviously, Kelly, there's a line, right? I mean, you don't want to. The job is now
Yeah,
on
and it could be,
press.
but like as you said, it can be different for different people though too. You may have some people that really appreciate all of that information and do, really keep their hands on everything. And then there may be other ones where, like you said, they say, "Hey, look, I don't need to know everything."
Hmm.
But there are some other ways of communicating that don't deal with just the person to person. This could mean, blogs that you're sending out. This could be newsletters that you're communicating with them. I mean, there's a number of ways today to be communicating with people, and we need to explore all of those options.
All right. And number 4 is, this is an interesting one, Kelly, losing on price for the wrong reason. Now, I think we were talking about this before we went live with this. The quote unquote right reason, I suppose, is that if somebody comes in and cuts you off at the knees, they're 50% lower than you, they're 40% lower than you. That's out of your control. So, what are
Hmm.
we talking about here when we say losing on price for the wrong reason? What's the stuff that's within our control?
Well, again, it's kind of a combination of the first two that we just talked about. It's either you kind of got caught asleep at the wheel where you weren't in there asking questions and presenting yourself as a solutions provider. Somebody else just came in there and worked harder and was more persistent and did more communicating than you did. I mean, that's one way. And again, that's kind of a combination of a competitor just coming in there and eating your lunch, or you just got lazy, you got complacent, and you kind of took that attitude of, oh, they love me, they send me everything. I
Mm.
can't tell you how many companies I work with where their sales guys, when I go through their, an account strategy planning meeting, and they go, oh, they love me, they love me, they love me. There's got to be more to it than that, folks. Again, you have to make sure that you're not assuming anything, that you have the business in the bag. This really has more to deal with that notion that we talk about all the time, that you understand what their plans are, you understand why they produce the pieces that they do, you ask good questions, and you are working with requisitioners and people higher up the food chain to really get the big picture, because those are the opportunities that allow you to bring new ideas and differentiate yourself from your competition.
All right, cool. So there's three reasons why we lose customers. And just before we sign off, I want to ask you guys just to keep in your thoughts and prayers the family of Mark Smith. Mark was a colleague of Kelly's and mine. He worked for North American Publishing, which is printing impressions, and he did all the technical work that backs Kelly and me up. And Mark passed away this earlier this week, and just a terrific colleague. And both Kelly and I are just devastated by this. And we found out earlier this week. We're recording this on Wednesday night. What's today's date? The 23rd.
The
And
23rd, yeah.
yeah, and Mark passed away either yesterday or the day before. So please, if you would, just keep Mark's family in your prayers. And
Thanks,
thanks very
Bill.
much for that. Kelly, anything you want to say on that? I mean, we talked about this earlier.
No, it was a huge shock, and yeah, I mean, we had a great working relationship. He was just, I mean, if you read Printing Impressions and you read what everyone was saying on their website about it, I mean, everybody is just very saddened by this, and he's really, really going to be missed a lot by this
All right.
industry.
And we will be back next week with another short attention span webinar. And thanks very much for allowing us to add that personal note. Kelly, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill.